Hey, this is Ketogenic Jim. What we're doing today is some biscuits. Now, I'm still in England, but I'm not going to get those too confused. These are American biscuits. England would call them more like scones, but these are going to be a bit savory. If they're good, I'm going to modify them to actually make some scones. Hopefully this recipe kind of works out a little bit better than the other ones. The other ones are pretty plain in my taste, but we're going to get started. Okay, starting out, we're going to need about a cup of almond flour. I have some actual proper almond flour instead of some ground almonds, and this is a bit finer, so that should be perfect. I'm just going to measure this out because I don't have a 1 cup measuring cup, but pretty simple, pretty good consistency stuff. This actually was handmade in a little shop right in the center of town. I'd say that'd be about a cup. I'm gonna say that's probably actually a little bit over. Then now, what we need is some coconut flour. This is some hard to get a hold of stuff. I would recommend getting it off of Amazon. Right now I don't really have access to Amazon, so everything's limited, but about 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. You want to be extremely careful with the coconut flour because it is incredibly dry. That means that it's going to soak up a lot of moisture. So you want to be careful with exactly how much you put in. I'm being quite liberal with the amounts I'm putting in, just heaping tablespoons, but I heap all the tablespoons, so it should kind of work out. But yeah, you want to be very careful also when you're storing this. Try to release as much air as possible because this soaks up the moisture really, really well. Now on to the next part. Okay, now this is pretty much all the measuring cup was needed for, was just to measure out our flours. So we get all that emptied out. Now you're going to want to use roughly about half a cup of butter. But what we're going to do is use about half what we have here. And this kind of complicated, but if you know how to make American biscuits, it's pretty much the same way. You're going to want to cut these up, the cold butter, into chunks. You know, some pretty good sized squares. Okay, so our cold butter is chopped up into our little chunks. We're going to put that into our flour. And now we're going to put in about a teaspoon of baking soda, bicarbonate soda. Don't have a teaspoon, so about half a tablespoon is roughly it. And then about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, or about half of a lemon is roughly your lemon juice. And a half a teaspoon of salt. Didn't really need to measure that. And now we're going to mix all this through and kind of press in our butter so it mixes in quite well. The butter and everything is finally blended in. It does take a while. Now we're going to put in our 2 eggs. Now we're just going to mix the eggs through, and we're going to want to make sure this is blended in really well. Then it's going to get really, really sticky really quick. And that means that we are ready to start baking. Okay, now we are ready to start baking it. Took quite a while of doing that mixing, by the way. Definitely take your time with it. but I'm going to put in about a tablespoon, and this is just some grease-proof paper, some wax paper. You can obviously grease your oven pan. Probably better to use a cookie sheet. I don't have one. And we're just going to essentially kind of like just put them in as like really big peanut butter cookie balls. Just, you know, kind of balled, and just kind of like drop them on. Not really, you don't really kind of level them out or anything. You just, I'm being a bit more careful here than what you normally would, just kind of toss them on. But I'm trying to space them out as much as possible so I can fit in enough for this batch. And this is perfect. Okay, now we're going to put these into the oven. You want to put them in at 375, around 215, 220 degrees Celsius, 375 Fahrenheit, for right at 12 to 15 minutes. Really, a lot of this type of baking is really just trying to cook the egg through. There's really nothing else that actually needs to be cooked, and also, you know, coconut flour, almond flour, none of that actually rises. So you just put it in for about 12 to 15 minutes and see how they look. And these are them. They look unbelievable. They look just like scones. They're really light. I'm gonna let them cool off a little bit and then I'm gonna try them, but that's pretty much it. It looks like we may have another contender for some another scone recipe, but that looks really good. I just tried one and they taste phenomenal. I would like them a little bit sweeter to be a scone, so maybe that may be the only modification. Maybe put a little bit of vanilla into there and, you know, a couple other things, but I'm definitely going to try to make these into scones. They are fantastic. They have a really good consistency, and I think they'd fit with pretty much anything. You know, that would have some really good ideas for maybe some of them was Red Lobster, Cheddar Bay biscuits type things, or really anything like that. I'm definitely going to try to modify them for some future recipe videos. But if you like my videos and you like my recipes, definitely give a like and subscribe. I'm a ketogenic coach, so if you want to get into any coaching I can help you out with, I really would appreciate it. I can show you how to do all different types of recipes like this. I'm going to have a book that's coming up soon. I'm actually finishing it up today, and then I'll be able to put that up. You know, I can directly email it to you, or I'm most likely going to be setting it up onto Amazon, so I can sell it through that way too, to have it self-published. But if you want to get in touch with me, please do. ketogenicjim@gmail.com, KETOGENICJIM@gmail.com, or just go through any of the social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Ketogenic Jim. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoy it.